Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today I've got a game for you between RedxWings, our Africa Corps, and his opponent today is going to be Born to Coom as US. Map today is going to be Crossing in the Woods. I feel like it's been ages since I've cast a game on this map. But you got these two critical cutoff points connecting you to everything on your side of the river, especially this high fuel point. A lot of times it's actually easier to take the fuel across the river from you, which has a less exposed cutoff point there. And I really like this map because it leads to some interesting choices in the early game. We see players fighting all over the place, and as the game goes on, folks tend to start hanging around the middle and kind of rotating as needed. And it can lead to some really fun, lines drawn in the sand and lots of action, and it can be both campy and active at the same time, and I really like this map. So, excited to bring it to you. I also am excited to see RedxWings again. I feel like it's been forever since I cast one of his games as well. As many of you may know already, RedxWings is a very memey player, just kind of, he's not always playing to win, he's playing to have fun, which is the way I like to approach the game as well. Except he's way better at it than I am, so it's fun to see him do some crazy strategies, and hopefully we're going to see some of that this game. This player has opened with the Heavy Weapons Battle Group, instantly adding on a Jeep into Engineer into Rifleman here. So with a build like this, I think we're going to see a bit more field defenses. These Engineers can also keep this Jeep active for longer. Of course, the Jeep does have a self-repair ability, but it can only be activated once every couple minutes there, and that can really hamstring your Jeep's ability to fight if it gets found out while it's trying to repair up. It's going to repair up now, and we'll see it get back in the fight here. Interestingly enough, the map isn't really looking good for either player. Our German player's diving on all these resources that his opponent has worked to capture here, but at the expense of capturing any of his own territory. So both players going to be on low income to start us off here. German player surrounded on all sides here, but is taking a favorable fight, focusing down those riflemen. Riflemen on the retreat here do look like they're going to make it out, if only barely there. Panzer Grenadiers very low as well. Engineer's going to close the gap here and do some pretty good damage up close here, using that heavy cover to stay in this fight as long as he can. And interestingly enough, German refusing to retreat here, just continuing to fight. And that's kind of cool. And what I love that he's doing this with this low health Panzer Grenadier squad. He's capturing this victory point in the center with that low health unit while this is happening, rather than retreating it back to base where it can't do anything for him in the short term. Both players continuing a pretty standard build here. Rifleman added on, more Rifleman added on for our US player. Meanwhile, RedxWings has gone for a third Panzer Grenadier. And I say it's a normal build, but normal for US means heavy machine guns. So, oh man, that's going to be a dead scout on its way out here. Nice little flank from the Panzer Grenadiers finding that unit. Is going to take this cutoff point too, so he's going to deny his opponent the fuel that he's worked to capture here. I think the US player overall is okay with what's happening. I mean, sure, he lost this fight, and he's eventually going to lose his territory, but while it was happening, he had control of his fuel, and he's managing to pick up fuel and munitions on that left side as well. Yeah, I mean, like I was just saying, heavy machine guns absolutely the norm these days at a high level. It's not everyone, right? But there are some players that run it every game. And I've even caught Ray doing it a few times, so it's a good strategy, and I don't blame anybody for using it, but not my favorite to watch. I know a lot of you feel the same way. That said, it is part of the game, so I do like to occasionally show it off here. And very cool, Jeep actually using the veterancy upgrade here to be able to drop weapons, and is going to throw down a heavy machine gun for his units to pick up. So that's very, very cool. And going for Mechanized Support Center here. This is a building you never, ever see. So that's going to be cool. Today is... What is today? Today is the 17th, and the Opal Scorpion patch notes just dropped. Not the patch notes, patch preview from Relic came out today. That's on YouTube. If you haven't heard about it or seen it, you can find that by searching for Opal Scorpion. In any case, oh man, Jaeger's picking up that Jeep there. Nicely done. What I'm trying to say is that that came out today, and there are some changes coming to the support centers, as well as, like, specifically the mechanized support center. They're moving the 76mm upgrade for Shermans into the tank depot. And I also heard that they're giving Captain to all of them. Now, I haven't verified either of those statements myself, but I was reading the Reddit post and saw some folks discussing that, so you can correct me if I'm wrong about that in the comments here. I'll be talking all about the patch when it comes out. US player way ahead on map control right now, controlling both of the major fuel points. Doesn't need to care about the victory points, and he's only down 100, less than 100 here, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about that. But, I mean, having all that fuel is pretty darn huge. Adding on a motor pool now. So it feels like we're going to see a Greyhound here. German player moving his med truck forward here so he can reinforce and heal on the front line. And a Greyhound on the way for our US player. All his riflemen grouped up on these sandbags here. Both players just gonna blob it out here. Have a big old fight right in the middle. While this is happening, Jaegers are securing this cutoff point. Engineers are gonna put a stop to that. And yeah, I mean, with a Greyhound on the way here, things are going to be a little bit scary for our German for a little while here. Jaeger's got to go right now. They are going to bail out. Grenadiers taking advantage here, pushing forward. Once again, reinforcing all his units way up on the front line. Now, the German player has locked in this Panzer Grenadier command, and he's picked up his... Okay, blockade equipment. I'll come back to that in just a second, but he also has defensive positions here. So all of his units, just by standing in cover, get the benefits of having, as if they had a vehicle nearby, the combined arms buff, right? So you'll occasionally see that popping up over these units' heads. Maybe I can show that here. I cannot because they're not standing in cover, but I just saw it over that unit's head. Now this ambulance got to bail out. Get to safety there. Jaeger's coming to defend it here, but yeah, so things looking really good for our US player here. Starting to take control of those victory points. German player does have support elements on the way here. Curious what he's going to want to do with that support elements. I mean, flak filling would be quite standard here. AT gun could be interesting. I think AT guns on this map in particular are very good. And second Greyhound on the way for our US player. So really wanting to get aggressive with his early light vehicle lead. Now our German has gone into these tank busters and upgraded his Jaegers as such. So now they have this Panzerschreck, which, as we all know, absolutely shreds Greyhounds. And interestingly enough, you know, German player seems content with his fuel income. He's not actively fighting over the fuel points like I might expect. Instead, he seems to be more focused on munitions and victory points, which is an interesting way to approach the game. Grenadiers looked like they wanted to throw an AT grenade, but didn't manage to pop it off. Yeah. So... US player licking his wounds a little bit. Looks like he's upgrading this Greyhound fully here. Tank Buster's going to grab this cutoff point, deny that fuel on the left side. But US player still has access to his fair share of the fuel, so not going to be overly concerned about that. And, I mean, again, German player prioritizing munitions over pretty much everything else. Very interesting to see. Tank Buster's getting a side hit on that Greyhound. Greyhound's going to have to back up. But now that those Jaegers are headed back to base, he's going to have to fear the Greyhounds a little bit. There is a second Jaeger squad on the map here. Not yet upgraded to Tank Busters. Probably going to be seeing that in short order there. A nice little fight here at long range, using the carcass of that Jeep to give his units cover. So I wonder if we're going to see this blockade equipment come into effect. I pretty much never see this. You more often than anything see players go for the S-Mines upgrade. But, yeah, I'm just reading this here. Stops vehicles that drive over it. Provides heavy cover. Okay, cool. Well, hopefully we see some roadblocks this game. Potentially some heavy barbed wire as well. Cool. But very definitive choice there, right? I mean, pretty much everybody goes for the S-mine fields because they're so stinking good. That's not what we're seeing this game. So our US player has gone for improvised armor out of his mechanized support center here. So this was clearly his intention this whole time. And just to show you what I'm talking about here. Improvised armor, giving them extra 20% extra armor, which is quite a bit. And anti-tank weapon damage reduced by 25%. I wonder if that lets them survive 2 Jaeger hits, because that'd be freaking huge. Tank busters here, very far forward. Looking for a chance at these Greyhounds. And funny enough, both players kind of had what they need to deal with the other. And German managing to hold his opponent in his base here a little bit. We are seeing bar rifles added on now. So, does he have the munitions to support bar rifles? Yeah, I mean, he does. And what I mean by that is he going to add on more bar rifles? And I feel like the answer is probably not. But when I find myself with a battle group, when I'm using battle groups that don't have a ton of... Oh man, Jaeger getting... Tank Buster's getting aggressive here, getting 2 hits there. And again, taking 25% less damage. Now that unit, I am 100% sure survived because it had the improvised armor there. Just, you know, any extra damage from those AT weapons would have definitely destroyed that unit there. So improvised armor coming in clutch. More hits coming in. Once again, surviving because of the improved armor. So that's simply incredible to see. Bar rifles are here now, so German having to respect that increased firepower. And you know, it's not like either player is doing something truly crazy, but I don't know. I mean, this game is kind of revolving around this Greyhound improved armor story, and that's not something you see very often. I mean, tank busters being added on to deal with Greyhounds and not actually being able to wipe the Greyhounds is just hilarious to me. I think it's so interesting that, you know, this is the matchup here. So, heavy machine gun added on for our German player here. I think that's probably a good choice. We've seen his opponent kind of bumping up his rifleman a little bit here, so heavy machine gun could put a quick stop to that. German player still has been able to control his fuel on the left side for quite some time now. We did see our US player take that victory point away for a little while, but both players very even on victory points for the time being. Greyhounds being very careful. I mean, these tank busters have stealth here, and it's as easy as walking into one of these units to lose that. Lose those Greyhounds pretty darn quick. German player trying to sneak down some mines here, but being found out by the Greyhounds. And yeah. So do we think it feels like our US player is going to go Pershing this game. I mean, I'll put it out there that I hope he goes M5 because ever since that, I guess it was Tightrope, I posted a Tightrope game where he went M5, and it just looked like so much fun, so I've been running that build a little bit, and I really like M5 on this map in particular, so I don't think we're going to see that. It does feel like we're going to see a Pershing based on the way he's running this build, which is to staying on infantry, not really spending his fuel, not that he has any fuel income at this exact moment. But feels like his intention all along here was to go for these Greyhounds and then hold on for the Pershing, right? I forget what they call that strategy. It has a name some people like to use, but stalling for Collins or something like that. Riflemen being found out by this heavy machine gun. The tank busters there giving cover against the armored cars, and actually does look like he's going to be able to suppress all these units here. So nicely done by him. Heavy machine gun doing exactly what it was intended to here. These riflemen are going to be forced back eventually here. Now, U.S. player recognizing that the tank busters have backed up. Now, it is just backing up to an ambulance there, so going to be able to come back in full health. Tank busters just shooing away the Greyhounds, which is their job. But with 2 heavy machine guns coming in on the flank here, this German heavy machine gun is going to have to give up the position. So, I mean, our U.S. player transitioned into 3 heavy machine guns here, even going for a 50 cal on one of them, remounting his heavy machine gun with the ambulance there, but I don't see this heavy machine gun getting out of there, not with those 2 Greyhounds. Oh, he is going to make it. Wow. Nicely done there, actually managing to hold on to his heavy machine gun. That's kind of a big deal. Grenade going to hurt that heavy machine gun on its way out, but no big deal there. And Panzer Command on the way for our Germans, so it feels like we're going to see... Well, I don't know what we're going to see. It's RedxWings we're talking about here. I mean, for God's sake, the man added on a support gun. I was thinking it, but I didn't say it out loud, that it feels like indirect fire might be pretty decent given the number of heavy machine guns we're seeing here. And RedxWings apparently feeling the same way. Now, the question is, what is going to be coming out of this Panzer Command? Panzer Me Command. You know, so I don't think a Stuka would be the right choice, but it is something we could see. We could also see the Flak 36, although it feels like serious overkill for Greyhounds. And of course, we could see the obvious choice, which is Panzer 3s. But, like I said, it's RedxWings. You never know until you see it. And I'm curious what he's going to land on here. Does feel like a Panzer 3 could be a really good choice here. Does have enough resources for it in the near future if he wants to go for that. Sport gun missing its first shot there, unfortunately for him. A unit does much better when barraging, in my opinion, as opposed to just letting it free fire. And, you know, this game is atypical for what I'm used to seeing on this map. I mean, our German player has only been interested in fighting over the middle. He seemingly only cares about the munitions and this center victory point. And that's not exactly true. I mean, we've seen him swing over to the edges, but he just wants to brawl it out in the middle here, which is crazy to me. Tankbuster's getting some good connections there. And a half-track on the way for our U.S. player. It's not gone for strong points or anything anything like that. Just has the exchangeable parts, and of course the open top half-track variant. Heavy machine gun is in position to help deal with this, but doesn't actually have a great angle there. So riflemen are going to be eventually forced back, but not without dealing some damage there. Grenadiers in jeopardy here. Using this ambulance right on the front line to continually reinforce his units. Tank busters forced back there. Sport guns firing away. 75mm also getting involved here. Gonna drive back this heavy machine gun in pretty short order. And a second half-track on the way. So I know that I said a Flak 36 would be overkill here, and it definitely wouldn't be my first choice, but with the amount of light vehicles coming out for our US, maybe we might see that. I don't know. I'm just putting some crazy vibes in the air and hoping something lands. We'll see what ends up happening. I'm going to stop speculating on craziness here. So, okay, I just thought of something else, which is RedxWings is, I mean, he has enough points to pick up this anti-tank Overwatch, but he hasn't yet. And now I'm wondering if we're going to see an elephant. I mean, he's saving fuel here. And as I say that ambulance going down. Nice little pickup by our US player there. Rifleman just trying to take away this point. Yeah, I mean, you know, if it could be that we see an elephant this game, that would be something also crazy to do, and based on the fact that he's continuing to save command points, it does feel like that's what's going to happen. Oh man, heavy machine gun getting absolutely wrecked by those 75 millimeters. Support gun actually doing some work against these riflemen at close range there, but riflemen are going to be driven back there. And a third half-track nearly complete here for the US player, so it's going to be Barrage City in not too long here. And, you know, funnily enough, I like this build from our US player. Like, he went for Rifleman early, which is definitely not the strongest meta play, but then he's kind of transitioned into this heavy machine gun, light vehicle, half-track meta, but he has, like, high veterancy riflemen to support it, and I think that's really powerful, and I think it's just a cool little build here. And the only thing he really had to give up was the captain and, you know, infantry advanced logistics, right? The discounts on reinforcing his riflemen, because the riflemen aren't really the centerpiece of the army, you know? I don't know, just a cool little build here. I know I'm nerding out here a little bit, but I love those side little builds that just bring something totally different to the game. So, riflemen trying to find an angle here are going to get driven back by the heavy machine gun and instantly barraged into oblivion by 3 half-tracks there. German player going to respect that a bit, might even counter barrage, but half-tracks immediately repositioning, not wanting to get hit with a barrage of their own. Jaegers, tank busters mounting up there in the 250, and these Greyhounds on the chase on this right side, using their superior mobility to go around these Jaegers, and then immediately retreating, knowing that his opponent might be coming out of the fog of war with those tank busters looking for a juicy Greyhound. And, I mean, the last few minutes have definitely been dominated by our US player. He's controlled the victory points, he's controlled the fuel, and it feels like he has all the answers. So I think ball is in the German player's court to respond to what he's dealing with here. Heavy machine gun going to set up perfectly on time. Going to get barraged is the support gun there, so should be able to reposition that. Heavy machine gun holding it down, but being suppressed as well here. Probably, I think one of the, yeah, these riflemen are using their suppress ability as well. Tank busters trying to close the gap here. Not going to find any of those light vehicles. And heavy machine gun immediately going down, being remounted, but probably going to get decrewed again. There is an ambulance on the scene, suppressing some of these riflemen, so might barely going to be able to hold it, and instantly going to be remounted by the ambulance there. Continuing to suppress all these riflemen here. So nicely done. Greyhound's trying to get aggressive, going to find some Jaegers for their trouble. Jaegers both missing. So, unfortunate for our German player there, not hitting any of his shots with those Shreks. It's going to let our German get pushed back here by this aggression from our US player. Sport gun repositioned, ready to fire. Going to have a close range shot here. Actually connecting a little bit, but doing almost no damage to those Greyhounds. That was crazy. Wonder what that's about. Support gun being driven back here, and looks like we're having a carpet bomb here from these butterfly bombs. Gonna hold down this center point, make it so his opponent can't push in there. So nice little use there. Minesweepers immediately coming in to help clear that out. Again, this is just to delay the US player, right? Temper his aggression. And it's doing just that, so what a great use of those munitions there. And that's got to be frustrating for our German player. I mean, these Greyhounds are freaking invincible it feels like just that 20% extra armor, 25% reduced damage is just freaking huge. I'm going to remember this build because this is my favorite way to play US, is Rifleman into Motor Pool. I think it's so much fun. I don't know if it's not always the best. You can get run over pretty easily by certain builds, but I'm going to try this one for sure. So nice little play here by a German player, picking up all this territory on the left side basically for free. Pershing on the field, though, for our US player is going to be real darn scary to deal with. Our German player is going to have an elephant, and he does have the fuel for an elephant, doesn't have anywhere near the manpower, but hasn't really committed to that yet. Pershing might be chasing down these Panzer Pioneers, absolutely shredding that unit on its way out the door. One more shot here, not quite going to clear him. Looks like he wants to continue the chase there, very aggressive. Could be mines here that he doesn't know about, could be AT guns waiting for him, but fortunately for him, going to be feeling pretty good about that. 75 millimeters, barraging the heck out of the center. Repositioning to this right side. Gotta find this 50 cal, but 50 cal ought to make it out of there, no problem. Second 50 cal ready and on the scene, but not actually facing the right direction here. So Panzer Grenadier's gonna get a nice little flank here, tossing out a grenade. And going to be driven back almost immediately by those Greyhounds. Pershing getting aggressive in the middle. First Panzerschreck bouncing. Second one connecting just fine. Here comes an AT grenade, destroying the engine there, so crippling that. Pershing does need to be really careful here, as the Pershing does a crap load of damage. Unfortunately for him, misclicking there, retreating the wrong Jaeger from the looks of it. I think we've all been there. Keep calling them Jaegers, but they are in fact tank busters. It's like that game where I called the Panzer III's Pershings all game long. For all I know, I've been doing it with some other unit this game. Oh, I hate when I do that. Heavy machine gun going to find these riflemen as they try and push in for the cutoff points. Panzer Grenadiers also ready for this push, but it is pretty scary here. I mean, triple bar squads, are they upgraded? Have they upgraded? Yeah, they have. So adding on 2 bar rifles per squad makes them extremely lethal. Grenadiers going to just narrowly avoid the barrage on their way out the door. 250 getting aggressive here. Tank busters in the back. Looks like he was on the hunt for some light vehicles, but isn't going to find them. And being suppressed here. So those tank busters got to get out of there. So feels like our US player has not done enough to control the victory points. I mean, he's rightly surmised that he's in control of this game, probably. And he's got his opponent very clearly on the back foot here. And if when you're in a dominant position like this, I'd encourage you to, if you find yourself in a game like this, take as much territory as possible. We are seeing that happen with those Greyhounds on the left side, both being upgraded with the raid option. Veteran C1, letting them capture some territory, and just using his riflemen to just sit here and hold his opponent in the base. What's been interesting this game is that our US player has consistently kept his riflemen grouped up as a squad of 3. I mean, it's been all game long. And, I mean, it's working for him. So no judgment there. I mean, if grouping up your units means you can keep them alive longer, then good on you. The only thing I wanted to say about it is it feels like our US players had opportunities this game to capture territory pretty aggressively, and we haven't seen him do that. And part of the reason is that these riflemen go everywhere as a team, right? So, again, no hate, just a trade-off that I think we all have to make in our own games. So, now pretty obvious to me, German player saving up manpower here. Is he disabled? Feels like he's disabled his... Yeah, he has disabled reinforce there. So very clearly saving up the manpower for this elephant, which is just around the corner here. Needs about another 30 seconds here, and he will have that unit. The question is the elephant going to be enough to save him here? US player has one really good answer to it, which is the Pershing. If the Pershing can get in behind the elephant, elephant's going to have a real bad time. 75 millimeters aren't going to do a whole lot to the elephant, so, you know, it could get pretty scary in that regard. Really, the only real option is the Pershing. The really real option. And is finally on the field here. So, I don't think I've ever seen this unit in a 1v1, at least not at a high level. It does have that 1,000 penetration, so basically every shot is guaranteed to penetrate. And I do suspect we're going to see our German player set up his tank busters right next to this elephant, so that this elephant can't get flanked by light vehicles or the Pershing. And if this elephant goes down, the game is probably over. Elephant might actually get its first shot here. He's going to penetrate on that front armor there. Might get one more shot. Nice hit there. Pershing already down to half health. Can't take much of that. 50 cal did go down here to these Panzer Grenadiers. Doesn't have enough to steal it away, and the Greyhounds are getting aggressive. 250 running for its life. More Panzer Grenadiers heading in to help out. Elephant in a crazy aggressive spot there. He is going to get away with it from the looks of things. Greyhound's about to eat an elephant tank shell, though. And here we go. Oh, man, elephant constantly repositioning. Is going to get one shot. I don't think he's going to have vision for a second shot here. And is instantly backing away, seeing those riflemen coming in. Greyhound, he did have vision of that Greyhound and was able to pick it up. Rifleman on the flank here. Heavy machine gun in the area, not facing the right way. Should be able to reface it here. Tank busters coming to help. But against riflemen, not going to do so hot. AT grenades coming down on this elephant. 75 millimeters, we're looking for an opportunity there. Pershing going to destroy the 50 cal, or heavy machine gun there. And this looks like a dead elephant to me. One shot from the elephant able to penetrate the Pershing there. But 75 millimeters here to help as well, and yeah, that is a dead elephant. We are going to see some butterfly bombs called down right here, but too little, too late, unfortunately, for our German player, and RedxWings going to throw in the towel here with the GG. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. I mean, I love to see the elephant, but I think we all probably saw that coming. Very efficient trading by our US player, pretty much in a dominant position all game long. And let me turn on those ratings for you here. So both players very evenly ranked. And actually, that doesn't look quite right. Let's go back to this. Yep, so 1677 for our US player and RedxWings 1583. So very evenly matched. I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did, and I will see you in the next one.